I humiliate him every week.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Jesus.
Man, he gets smashed in the dick. All right, welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name's Ben Stigler. I'm here to answer your shooting questions. Here to assist me with answering your shooting questions is Indifferent Matt from Super Tactical. What's up, Internet? Yeah, that's right. Apparently, you've worked out your anger issues now.
It's just like, whatever.
You got a new job. You got a haircut. You are ready.
These are all true.
And now you're indifferent about shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're happy. I guess the new angry Matt is Mr. Matt Hopkins.
How's it going, everybody?
Oh my God!
And a cool intro here, but
yeah, no, but do it. Nobody else did it yet, Matt. You can do it.
Cool intro here.
Boom. All right, Candice from Georgia.
Hi, lady. Yay.
It was my suggestion to Candice that she put on some aviator sunglasses and roll up a blunt and get a picture of herself lighting it, and then just post the meme that says "Hi, lady."
Nice.
I think that would be quite funny. Well, yeah, it's totally inappropriate. And she said that'd be bad for my image, and it's like I'd be a little late for that. I don't know. Should have thought this whole internet thing through. All right. Anyway, on tap for discussion today, we've got an old from 2013 article from Modern Service Weapons. In internet time, that's 50 years ago. But the article is still, I think it's still sort of interesting today, and that's why we're talking. It's what?
Timeless.
It is timeless. I think that's fair to say. So what we've got here is an article essentially talking about how double action, single action guns are outdated. All the real operators are shooting plastic guns anyway, and if you use the proper skills, you can overcome the disadvantage that double action triggers offer you. Angry Matt, I know that you spent some time with this article. So what did you think? What was the point of it to you, and what do you have to say about it?
Well, I think going off of what you just said, this guy is saying the proper skills are basically as soon as you get your hands joined together after the draw, start working the trigger.
Is that not the right way to do it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, no. You might as well be like, as soon as you get it out of the holster, activate your SERPA and then activate the trigger.
What?
What? SERPA is a holster. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
Okay.
Just blend it all together.
Yeah, all right. So I think you're keying in on the last part of it that says, one of the keys, in my opinion, to understanding the double action shot is leverage. We give up a lot of leverage by starting the trigger stroke way too late on the press out. In a continuity of fire situation, or simulated in dry fire, the trigger stroke should begin just about the time the hands come together for a supported shot. The idea is that the gun goes bang at full extension or slightly before. The key is that we learn the timing through dry fire to when the extension of the press out is halfway out, half the trigger pull is taken up. At 3/4 extension, 3/4 of the trigger is taken out, and the sights start crossing the plane where the shooter's looking. When the gun comes to full extension, the hammer falls, and we drive the sights aggressively to the target. Okay, that's the proper way to run a double action trigger. Right, Matt Hopkins?
I don't really, I mean, so they're saying start the pull right when your hands come together and finish it. It should go bang as the instant it's out there, right?
That's my understanding of what I just read.
I don't do that, so I don't.
You don't do that, so it's wrong?
I'm not saying it's wrong. It doesn't make sense to me.
All right, Angry Matt, are you gonna nut up a little bit and say that that's wrong?
Yeah, it's wrong. I don't know what leverage has to do with it either. I mean,
no, the word leverage doesn't really make sense in the context.
No.
I think he's maybe talking about the leverage of pulling the trigger. Some people don't have enough hand strength, I guess, to pull the trigger.
Well, why is that any different if you start pressing it at a different time?
Well, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm just saying, trying to explain the leverage part of it.
Okay. Well, you did a commendable job, Matt.
Just saying.
All right.
Made a point.
Matt Olinchak, did you do some testing with this? You said you recorded some video. Is this true?
Yeah, well, I read the article and then I was like, I just wanted to see what I was doing to make sure if I was going to talk shit about this crappy technique that I wasn't also doing it.
Did you delete a bunch of YouTube videos all of a sudden?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just did some slow-mo dry fire bullcrap in my house for like 5 minutes.
All right, and what is your conclusion about this?
I do not start pressing the trigger that early.
Well, have you tried it?
I can't really bring myself to, like, I can't do it. Like, my brain won't let me do it.
All right. Well, why would you do it?
Why would I do it?
Like, why would you think this is a good idea?
I wouldn't think it's a good idea.
No, I mean, but if you were going to make some arguments that
I could make an
support this-
argument why it's good.
Oh, good. Somebody will stick their dick out there.
Well,
I
I wouldn't do it, and okay,
Damn
yeah,
it,
I'll stick
Candice,
my
make
dick
some
out
argument.
there.
Good.
What? No, the argument that I can understand is that if you bring your hands out there and you're going to start working the double action, your hands might wobble a bit more because of the leverage issue, and it makes more. You can do a smoother motion of the trigger if you're doing it while you're doing another movement of the gun kind of motion.
All right, so if I'm understanding this, well, maybe I should put this in different words. You're saying it'd be a good idea, or it sounds like a good idea, because you spend more time pressing the trigger, but you're going to press it more smoothly, and you're going to get the trigger press started sooner, spend
And
more time with it.
it'll be a better quality press.
All right, because you're spending more time doing it. Hopkins.
No, because you're doing something else at the same time. So you're not overcompensating the trigger press by moving the gun around.
All right, what do you think about that, Hopkins?
None of this makes sense to me. I'll be that honest. I'm trying to follow what you said, Candice, but it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Well, that's fair.
Like,
Does the article
I'm
make
thinking
sense
about
to
how
you?
I draw. No.
Well, you've just learned how to do it a different way. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It is possible to do a kind of
I think
indexy.
it's safe to do that though. What he's talking about.
You've made the decision to shoot. That's why I don't believe this. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how I do it.
I'm just saying they're basically like index shooting straight ahead at something that they're looking at.
I mean, the guy's just rehashing exactly what Todd says about his press out technique.
Well,
right?
let me jump in here. I see not a lot of people do this, but I've seen a fair number of people that I have observed, especially in classes when I spend a lot. I can watch people really closely. There's more people than you think in USPSA doing this, where they're kind of prepping the trigger when
like staging
the gun's up.
Yeah,
they might. It depends. People get trained different ways. They might be staging the trigger, prepping it up, especially with double action guns. They want to start prepping it up early. There's quite a few people doing this sort of thing in USPSA. Maybe not exactly as it's described in the article, but something really close.
Well, I kind of learned how to do that with a revolver, honestly, because the pull's so damn long.
So, is that a technique that you still do with your double action gun now?
I don't think so.
All right.
Some
Anyway.
small version of it, perhaps, but
Angry Matt, what do you think about that? If there's people like let's think of it just as prepping the trigger. Let's talk about it that way.
Well, I will say, actually, I've seen from my headcam video that on the draw on like a long range target maybe, when the gun comes up into my eye line, like into the camera line, the hammer sometimes is starting to already go back. So I don't know. I don't do that on purpose, I don't think, but I guess I am getting on it in the last maybe 10% of the. I don't want to say press out, but I guess.
I was just
I
thinking
guess
about my draw.
You're on it before full extension, but it's not. This article is just off base. Especially, I mean, this guy.
There's a lot of people doing this, Matt. This is what I'm saying. There's plenty of people get trained this way, and they think it's a really good idea.
So half extension, the trigger should be halfway back. That's terrifying.
Oh, you're just not brave enough, I guess. Then.
Well, I mean, this guy that wrote this article has shot people in the face before, right? He's legit or no?
Presumably he's killed a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay. Well then,
Oh my God. He's a killer.
It's modern service weapons.
Yes.
You have to like cut off the enemy's ear to even be on that website writing articles, right? I don't know. Hopkins, is this making any more sense to you?
Yeah, it is kind of now. So I'm just thinking how through my draw, whose echo is that, dude?
Whoever does not have headphones in, put them in, please.
So when I'm drawing, I'm kind of like Matt said. When my gun is basically almost to the full extension, probably 3/4, that's when I'm starting to pull the trigger. Like if I do a long-range shot, I do stage it semi, but that's just trying to get the right side alignment ready. But I'm not pulling it as soon as my hands meet up down in my chest. That doesn't make any sense to me.
So what would you say about the difficulty of the target? Does that play into it?
It's not going to change where I start pulling the trigger. I mean, I'm starting trigger pull probably 3/4 of the way out. Not any sooner.
All right. I will say that if I see anybody attempting to do this, I usually tell them to stop because it's so fucking complicated. Like, I get why people have the idea that this is faster or better in some way to start prepping up the trigger, like early, or start rolling the trigger back, before they get the gun out. But in my experience, it doesn't really save me any time. It just makes things a lot harder. My experience is similar to indifferent mats when it's when I draw down on a long target. I'll be working the double action trigger while I'm still cleaning up the sight picture, and that makes some sense to me. But as far as like running the trigger halfway back when the gun's at halfway extended, I've seen that like fuck people up just in that it's complicated and unnecessary, and that's not an idea I've seen be helpful to people, wherever they've tried it. All right, indifferent Matt, anything else to say about this?
I think we just have to tell the truth and say that when Langdon wrote that article in 2004,
fear not the double action shot, right?
Yeah.
Candice, could you find that and put that in the show notes as well in case people want to read it?
All right.
Cool.
I mean,
Thank
he
you.
was the current double action champ back then, so he had nut huggers back then, right? And
I think he still does.
This is just a remnant of that, I guess. I don't know.
All right. So you're saying what about? Are you gonna shit talk on Ernest Langdon now? Is that what you're doing?
Well, sure, we can.
Wow,
I mean, I'm beating him now, so we can.
Oh
we can say that now.
shit! What? Oh man.
Nah, he's a cool guy, but does he only shoot a double action gun when they're paying him to? Because when I took a class from him in like 05, he was shooting a 1911.
I don't know.
So.
You'd have to ask him. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
He's probably gonna be outside my door like tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna be pressed. He's gonna do a press out on your face. All right, Hopkins. Anything else to say about this?
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense in the article.
It doesn't make sense, does it? We got like everybody here shoots a double action, like a traditional double action gun, and none of you do this, and this sounds fucking crazy to all of you, which
Yes.
I find kind
Pretty
of
much.
amusing. And
But
so
then
that's,
again, we're not face shooters, so we're just dead in the street without this. Maybe. Probably not.
Okay. All right,
Alright.
Candice, you have a
Okay.
shooting question for us. Let's do it.
I have one. Is using a more difficult gun for a season or two going to carry over to better performance when I switch to a better gun? For example, I'm shooting a Beretta 92 this season. I think it's harder to shoot this gun well than my CZ Shadow because the trigger is heavier, mushier, and breaks further back. The
That's
mag well
lie.
is not flared,
Lies.
the mag release button is harder to
Lies.
use, and the sights are both harder to see and less distinct even when I can
Crazy.
see them. He just hates this gun, man.
I don't know.
Why would you
Something's
put
wrong.
yourself through that when you have a
I don't understand why he wants to do
he
that.
says?
We
I'm
answered a
confused.
similar question a while back. Yes, Candice?
Yes.
All right, well, the
But
idea
that was
is...
about making your own gun crappier, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. Well, Hopkins, would this make you a better shooter? So, like, if you were to shoot, like, you pull your PPQ out of the safe, you shoot that for a while, would that make you a better shooter?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Like, if my end goal, like, say my end goal is shoot the Shadow in the Nationals or whatever it is, shooting the PPQ for a season would way indirectly negate that. It would not be good for it at all. I see no reason or no anything that would make that a better choice.
Well,
Now,
you shooting...
like a stock CZ75.
Yeah, how about a stock CZ75?
That's
But that,
kind of different question, honestly.
yeah, but this
Well,
is this is the apples and oranges question. Will eating an orange make you
as
better
much.
with an apple?
No, not as much. Like a Beretta is not super dissimilar from a CZ.
Yeah, it is. It's a totally different gun.
No, Candice, it's not super.
I like what Matt said. Shooting a stock gun compared to all modified gun.
Well, that's similar. That's a similar-ish question. He's got a Beretta with a shit trigger and shit sights and a shit magwell, whatever. Like I've shot a Beretta a lot. I've shot a CZ a little bit. Shot a stock 2 a lot. They're all similar-ish sorts of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
They're double action. I'll agree with that.
Right. They're double action guns. And the Beretta trigger is similar-ish to the CZ one. The stock 2 trigger's a little bit different. Feels different.
Can using a crappier trigger help you? Yes. Can using in horrible sights help you? I would say no.
That's interesting. Why no?
Why no?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot in the visual thing, and then I think that
Hold on. Let's explain that. What the fuck are you talking about?
The sport is like a ton of visual input. That's pretty much all it is. Well, it's a lot to do with it.
Okay, so wouldn't like sites that make you work harder on the visual input side, you'd say that would not help you?
I don't see how it could. I think it'd be way too different.
Okay, so let's say if the sights are the same sort of thing, they're just harder to see with his Beretta, and so he has to he just has to be more careful with the sight deal because they're harder for him to see. He's got to really work at seeing them and watching the alignment. You don't see any benefit when he goes to easier. It's easier to see sights in some way. I don't know what makes him easier to see. You've just got to go. This guy subjectively says the Beretta sights suck monkey nuts or whatever, so he has to, they're harder to use. So you don't think there's any benefit?
All right, that's a good argument. I kind of agree with that.
I was just asking a question.
No, the way you put that makes sense.
Oh my god. No, it's totally bullshit.
Go ahead, man.
Yes, Candice.
What?
Tell
No,
us
I tried
about
to
this.
use 3-dot sights or whatever before instead of what I'm used to, and that was just awful. I didn't see the benefit. I don't think it would have made me a better shooter. It was just frustrating and annoying.
Well, can you use the sights that you currently have?
That's debatable.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but what I'm saying is imagine me, but imagine me even worse.
I can imagine a lot, Candice. I'm not sure I can imagine that.
No, but I mean, the different gun thing, shooting revolvers did make me better with a 1911 trigger because I learned a little more to drive the sights instead of just ambush them with the trigger.
Could it be too much of a hindrance? Like it's so hard to do that, it would negatively affect it? Like if you had some excess big dots or whatever on there, I cannot see how that would be effective to help you train.
Because the sights are so different.
Yeah.
It'll teach you to not use
Well, that's what I felt with 3 dots versus like.
All right, indifferent Matt, you've been quiet on this topic. You have anything to say about it?
Sorry, I fell asleep.
It was a long day for you.
Jesus Christ, you're not mad anymore. You're like, you got a haircut. You're
hot. Blue shirt.
Is using the. We back on the original question, or is using dumb sights a good idea, or what?
Yeah, dumb sights a good idea.
That's part of the original question. That's a piece of it.
I mean, you have to throw out your stock lock sights. That's the first thing you do, right?
Okay, well, the guy's shooting a Beretta, and he wants to be awesome with a CZ.
So shoot the CZ. I mean, life's too short to shoot a shitty gun, right?
Especially when you already own the other one, right?
Yeah.
He owns the other gun. He has it
for the other one.
No, he has it. He says.
Why is he shooting it this season? I don't
Doesn't make
understand.
sense.
Is he being paid to shoot that gun and he wants to eventually be gooder with a better gun? I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Maybe his Wilson Combat contract's only 1 year, so next year he won't.
I don't think that person would send a question, Ben.
I delete the names as soon as I get them. I legitimately can't say who this question's from because I don't know. But wow, okay, Matt, indifferent Matt, I should say. Anything else to say about this? Okay, life's too short. Shoot your shadow. Hopkins, paid by CZ. You're gonna say shoot the shadow, right?
Well, dude, if you have a better gun and you want to shoot it eventually, and you already have it, why would you put yourself through that?
I personally would not, but this guy seems to think it might be a good idea. I don't
Because
know.
it'll make him more of a man than any of us.
Candice, you say shoot your PPQ? Is that where we are with it? Or
Yeah,
what?
that's what I said. I never said the word PPQ.
Oh, I'm sorry. I inserted that in there.
No, just make your existing great gun kind of crappy and shoot that if you want to get better.
Do you think that works, though?
I'm gonna find out.
It works for me. I like that. Just throw a
Worse
heavier
trigger, not like horrible excess sights or
yeah,
something.
throwing a heavier trigger in my practice guns has not been a bad thing for me. It's been good.
I'm not sure about the magwell thing. I don't see the point of that either.
What the point of having
A worse magwell if that could be possible.
possible to have a worse magwell than a CZ? I'm not sure it is.
Well, no, it makes you. I know what she's saying. I mean, I switch between limited and production in it.
Yeah.
You get lazy shooting limited for sure. The magwell's huge, so I guess it's kind of.
Yeah.
You know, if he's going to a smaller.
Dude, you're too busy soaking up that manually recoil to be fucking bothered to hit your reloads, right?
It's like
But
one
he's a
per
big
stage.
dude.
Sometimes.
He can do it.
Yeah, thanks.
No, he's strong like bull.
That's right.
God.
Oh my god. Okay, well
Sorry.
this was a fun discussion. I think it's time to wrap it up because, well, we covered it. If you want to hit up Candice, she's at producer Kermit on Twitter. Hopkins is at hopkinsshooting.com. Indifferent Matt is at supertactical.com. If you go on there and you fucking troll him a little bit, I doubt he'll still be indifferent. He'll probably be back to being angry Matt. So if somebody could do that, that'd be excellent. If you want to get me, go over to benstegger.com. Send me your shooting questions. I'll give it to the panel of guests, and they will psychoanalyze you and be, why the fuck would this guy ask this question? We even think this is a good idea. So you've got that to look forward to. So I'd love to take your questions.